So, Genji, the big green cyborg ninja, is easily my favorite character in this whole game, based off of story, and before I even started playing this game, he was most definitely the most appealing character I could see, because, I mean, you see a green cyborg ninja and all these, the animated short where he and Hanzo are sparring both verbally and physically, where he eventually reveals himself to be the brother Hanzo once thought dead. He's got an interesting story to him. Not to mention his abilities are rather interesting as far as gameplay goes. And Genji was the first character I started playing when I started my wonderful journey with Overwatch. So this is just my general opinion on him, and how I play him, and how he works, in my opinion. Again, everybody plays this game differently, and I am just expressing my own views as far as how I play him, when I play him, and the way I handle him as a character in the game, and just some basic backstory which any of you watching may or may not already know. So, Genji is the younger brother of Hanzo, and he has the same power to wield the spirit dragons as told in the animated short Dragon. He wields this in his blade as Hanzo would in his bow. Then again, I don't know too much about Hanzo. I don't really play Hanzo. But Genji gets 6 to 7 swings out of this, I think. I don't know for sure how much that. I'll keep count. But Genji, he has these, the specific set of abilities, like the wall climb here is very, very similar to Hanzo. Hanzo can do the exact same thing. Why am I saying it's similar? It's not similar, it's the same thing. Genji also possesses the power to double jump, and his primary fire is throwing his 3 shurikens of a burst in a straight line, and his secondary fire is throwing them all at once in a sort of fan, kind of like a spread, which I think is more useful for close range situations, and I see it as a way to drain some health off of a tank like Roadhog, assuming you can get close enough without getting your brains blown out. Or Reinhardt especially, I use it on Reinhardt quite a bit. And one of Genji's main abilities, and probably one of the most well known, and what makes him unique, is his ability to deflect things with his Wakizashi, which is shot to his back alongside his sword, which is basically which, like I said, you get 6% swing. And his other ability, which it's kind of a tactically used thing, as it has the same equipped strength as a regular punch, if not just a little bit more, is his swift strike, which is really good for getting out of a bad situation, or finishing off an enemy, or just getting somewhere a little faster than you normally would. And something that always intrigued me with Genji is the fact that he, what is it? Despite the fact that Hanzo killed him, quote unquote, he didn't see that spite to return and kill his brother. I mean, if it were me, I would have ripped my brother to pieces, but hey. Honor. Genji is easily the most mobile asset in the game, and deciding when and where to use him can be kind of difficult, as he only has 200 health, and he's very ability heavy. Like his reflexes are vital to being able to use him and knowing when and where to use them. Especially a swift strike, like you have to know in a pinch if an enemy is going to either kill you or if they have low enough health where you can take them out with the quick strike, which eliminates the cooldown for it almost immediately. And he tends to one of his counters for sure has to be Mei, because you can't deflect anything except for his secondary fire, which is her icicle shot, and she can freeze him solid just like any other character. Easily pop him in the head with an icicle. But any character that has like a beam type of ability or something that can't be deflected, like Zarya's particle or gravity cannon or whatever you would call it, Mei's ice beam, and Symmetra's draining Satan Claw of Death, whatever the hell it's called. Symmetra, and her turrets especially can take them out, so you have to be able to plot out what you're going to do with Genji once you know that they have something that can counter him easily, or someone that can kill him just as easily as you can kill them, like McCree. I'm sure Genji can counter McCree pretty easily, but you have to know when and where to use his abilities on McCree. You have to be able to know if he's going to hit you with his flashbang, or if he's going to fan the hammer on you. It's kind of, it's a bit of a tactical thing. And Genji's shurikens, unless you can land a headshot, are really only good for chipping off health. Like, that doesn't do too much, especially in a fast combat situation. Like, Soldier 76 can easily melt through someone like this. And Genji's ultimate is best paired with someone who can, hold enemies in place, or when the tanks and whatnot are on low health, or when Zarya uses her Graviton Surge and holds them in place, so that Genji can take them out relatively easily. But he, like I said, he only gets 67 strikes in this, so he doesn't have very much capability to eliminate tanks, or say Lucio activates his sound barrier, which usually cancels out most ultimates. But it's all a matter of being able to time everything perfectly. And the way I play Genji is I have the sensitivity turned all the way up on both vertical and horizontal, and it suits me pretty well. And when I first started playing, I sat really well with Genji because I play with a controller fingering style known as claw, which not a lot of people tend to use, but it's where your right index finger rests on the circle, square, triangle, and X buttons, while your middle finger is on R1, and your right middle finger rests on R2, and your other controller layout, the left side of your controller is perfectly normal, but some people find it rather weird. But if you play claw, Genji is definitely a good place to sit. Especially if you have played games where you have to make swift decisions, and Genji's all about tactical placement. There's good and bad times for him. Like, there's no bad time for Soldier 76, or there's no bad time for a Reinhardt, or there's no bad time for a Mercy. Like, there's definitely good and bad times for Genji. Like, a good time for Genji is if you have a Bastion placed on a certain part of the map, or the map is very open to flanks on defense. Somewhere where Genji can flank. Genji's very good at flanking, and he can be very hard to kill depending on who's using them and how. And in my opinion, I try Genji at the very beginning of a match to see how it's going, because a lot of people tend to take Genji regardless of the situation. So I do my best to get to him before anyone else can. I mean, who the hell wouldn't want to play a basically flying green cyborg ninja that deflects bullets? X amounts per second. Genji does really well if there's a Mercy lying around, and the stigma behind him is usually someone who's level, level 70 or below is gonna play him just to play him. They're not gonna do that good. But in all reality, it just depends on how you play and how you want to play and when and where you are and what the enemy layout is, what your team layout is, and if you have the skill to play using Genji, and if you manage to pull off playing a good Genji and playing to a team rather than rushing in trying to get a 6-man is never going to happen. I mean, not to me at least. I'm not that great of a Genji, but there's, you know, knowing what everyone else can do to him and what he can do to everyone else. Like, he can chip away at Mei, but then she can freeze herself and heal herself. She can. The ice wall doesn't do much to him as he can use his cybernetic wall climbing ability, and his ease of access to just about everything, and his mobility makes him very hard to catch. And he can also deflect some character's ultimates, which I am in no place to demonstrate right now, but he can deflect Hanzo's ultimate, he can deflect Zarya's ultimate if he catches it in time, he can definitely deflect Soldier 76's ultimate. It just depends on whether or not this ability is projectile based or it has a base projectile like Hanzo. Hanzo fires an arrow before the spirit dragons even come out. You know, you can deflect that, you can deflect the dragons back in that general direction. But it all sort of depends on how you play it out and how you use Genji. So, but yeah, that's just my basic opinions on Genji and how he should be played. And it's just a matter of paying attention to how the enemies are playing and how your team wants to play, and he's a very tactical decision in my opinion, and he takes definitely takes a certain set of skills, but then again, I've been playing him since I started playing the game. I have more hours on him than any other character. My second most played character is either Hanzo or Mercy, and I only have 7 hours on either one of them, so it depends on how you want to play the game. And Blizzard has done an excellent job trying to balance him out and make sure that he's not too overpowered or too underpowered, and I think he sits just right where he needs to sit. And he has his specific set of counters and his specific set of people that he can eliminate rather easily. And if you can use him correctly, he can easily be one of the deadliest heroes in this game. But I've said this too many times already now, but it's just a matter of tactical placement. He's he's very squishy. He can easily be ripped apart by Roadhog if Roadhog manages to bait his deflect and hook him regardless, or if you just don't know when and where to be, or if you don't remember that Genji's a flanking character, or if you're in a bad part of the map. But like I said, he's probably one of the coolest characters in this game to date. And Overwatch might come out with newer, cooler heroes, but I don't think you can really top the whole ideology behind an augmented green cyborg ninja. I mean, last time I heard of a biologically augmented green guy being this badass was with the Halo series and Master Chief, the Steel Star.
Double kill.
But yeah, very ability based, very mobile, very tactical, can be difficult to use, but you learn how to use him, he can be a rather deadly tool.